Money FM 89.3, best of breakfast. Mind your business, only on Money FM 89.3.
Welcome to Mind Your Business with me, Ryan Huang. Now, we are looking at the Singapore employment landscape for persons with disabilities. Of course, those present significant challenges. As of 2024, only 33.6% of people with disabilities aged 15 to 64 are unemployed, reflecting a modest increase from 2019, which was at 28.2%. Notably, about 64% of them remain outside the labour force, often citing health issues or disabilities as main reasons. Our next guest hopes to make changes to that. In fact, after spending more than 25 years in the corporate world, she decided to take on a new challenge to pursue a second career. And her goal? Provide meaningful employment to individuals with special needs and the elderly. She's now chef and founder of NoNNa, a social enterprise that also runs a cafe, plus the Green and Purple movement, a social enterprise selling sustainable and fresh local produce. So all this seems to be in line with Budget 2025, where the government has continued with more measures to strengthen Singapore's social compact. How much will those moves move the needle, and what else needs more attention when it comes to inclusive employment? Let's find that all out with Geraldine Tan. She is the founder of NoNNa. Good morning, Geraldine. How are you doing today?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm doing good today.
Yeah, great to have you on, and we've got a lot to talk about. You're a self-taught chef, and you've been running NoNNa for some 10 years now, so a lot of hard work's gone into that, and it has paid off because you've been recognized recently as an honoree in the Brands for Good Awards 2021-2022 under the Business for Good category. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Let's talk about how things have been playing out for you. How has been the 10 years doing this social enterprise project for you? How's that played out for you?
Yeah, I think it's, it's been very challenging for the last 10 years. What we recognized fairly early on was that the persons with special needs were well taken care of while they were in schools, because you have special education schools and things like that. But once they hit 16, 18, they drop out of schools, right? Or they graduate from the schools, and then there's nothing left for them by means of employment. So this is a very dangerous cliff that they would fall off, right? So we set out to actually provide employment, and it became such that we decided that we should also train them properly for work. So then we decided that we should train employers as well. So we matched the two together, and then we have a more scalable approach towards employment of persons with disabilities.
So there is a bit of both sides of the equation. One is the employers. They need to understand what they are getting into. There's going to be a few misconceptions that need to be cleared up. So for your business, how do you ensure that people with special needs and elderly are given equal opportunities? How does your business model work?
Yeah, so it revolves around flexibility, essentially. So like with the Green and Purple movement, if we engage persons who are elderly, their productive hours can be 4 a.m., right? So for me, I don't have any issues if they come down to the garden and do all the harvesting for me from 4 to 6, and I get fresh harvest by 7. So it's okay for me to have them just work for 2 hours. I don't want to hold them to a 44-hour week or things like that. So basically the rules of, whatever employment structures in existence, those have to be thrown out the door, right? And you have to develop new approaches towards employment and engagement. For some of the persons with special needs, they don't even want full employment to begin with, right? They just want an opportunity to be engaged. So they come to the garden, they work in the garden for an hour or two, and that's good enough.
Yeah, and talking about the garden, you actually brought in some of your produce, local
Yes.
produce, sustainable produce. What do you typically grow in your garden?
Yeah, so what we like to grow are things that we ourselves enjoy eating, and we like to grow higher value products, right? So we don't just want to grow the kangkong and things like that, because you can't potentially sell kangkong locally grown at a profit in Singapore. So what we do is we grow things like our baby Tuscan kale, very high nutrition, and it's very good to feed the elderly, right, in the who live in rental flats, to feed them, something that is high in nutrition like baby Tuscan kale. So we cook it up for them and then we share it with them. So it's much better than giving them a goodie bag which has instant noodles and that kind of thing, right? So what we do is we like growing herbs as well. So herbs that are very good for like sore throats, like what Audrey was playing with just now, which is the India borage. So you just make it into a tea. So you pluck off a few leaves and then just make it into a tea. So it's a very simple application. And this is the kind of veggies and herbs that we like to grow.
Yeah, you also run what's called Match and Train program. How has been the reception to this, and what have been some of the, responses so far?
Yeah, so that's been a challenging one, because what we need to do is train the employers. And many employers don't understand that you cannot just hire a person with special needs and then deploy them immediately into the workplace. They will not survive. You need to train your supervisory staff to be able to manage the persons with special needs effectively. This is particularly challenging in the F&B sector, which, as you know, it's so hectic, so busy. And a supervisor wants the special needs to multitask. Now, this is not a possible thing. They can do 5 tasks, but they should be asked to do the 5 tasks one at a time. And they would do it well. If they are given time to do the 5 tasks one at a time, they would be able to complete the tasks that you need them to do. But you just cannot deliver them the 5 tasks at one time. So these are very basic things that we try to train supervisors of potential employers of persons with special needs. And we teach them how to interact with the persons with special needs, and then the workplace becomes an environment that actually is able to embrace the person with special needs, and the person with special need is able to value add to your organization.
Yeah, that's a very important point. We are in conversation with Geraldine Tan. She is the founder of social enterprise NoNNa. Now, Geraldine, let's shift gears to budget 2025, which covered multiple facets of our society. So we're going to zoom in on the support for people with disabilities. So under the latest budget, employers will get more support to offset the wages of people with disabilities, with the Enabling Employment Credit extended to end 2028. The scheme was originally set up to run from 2021 to 2025. It provides up to 20% wage support for workers with disabilities earning below $4,000 per month. This is capped at $400 per worker. So taking a look at these latest measures, what are your thoughts, and how much does it go towards moving the needle when it comes to supporting people with disabilities?
Yeah, I'm quite excited about this particular aspect of the budget. I think it is useful for us to have this type of funding. It essentially is co-funding for persons, for hiring of persons with disabilities. Yeah. So what should actually be included are things like apprenticeship periods, right? So what we have been saying a lot is that persons with special needs, they can't be expected to immediately come in and sign on with an organization and then be given a 44-hour week roster and say, here you go, do this. And based on this, I can pay you $2,000 and then you can get the job done and I can claim my credits, right? It doesn't really work that way, because you need to give the persons with special needs time to acclimatize to your organization and learn the job. So I'm hopeful that in the application of this grant funding, that we find a way to assess this funding by using an apprenticeship program type approach. And if we can do that, then yes, this budget is wonderful for us.
Okay, sounds like it's the right step in the right direction, but it goes beyond the funding. You need some structural changes, mindset changes as well. And I think there are still some ways to go on that front. So what are some of the potential programs you think, besides the apprenticeship push from the government, that maybe could work? Is there anything else on your wish list that you think, in future budgets we could look at more closely?
Well, I'm actually quite interested in the current budget, which is the NTUC grant that trains employers, right, to be able to do their own in-house training. And they become, they go through a course and then they become certified themselves. So what we would like to see is employers themselves applying for this fund, right? But then they pay us to help them in their training programs and develop the curriculum for them, right? So then we can operate as a proper enterprise, and actually provide the service that they require.
Yeah, that's a very interesting idea. And talking about running a business, an F&B business, you're running NoNNa, so it's not just an F&B business, you're also running a social enterprise, as well as the Green and Purple movement. So you have a lot, I suppose, of business lessons you picked up along the way. What have been some of your highlights? I suppose folks would be keen to learn from you.
Well, I think we've really learned to be super independent, right? I think one of the things when we started out, 10 years ago, we were still thinking, okay, how can the government support us and things like that, right? But through the years, we have learned that we have to find ways to structure our business such that we can get our revenue in our own way, funding in other ways other than just looking at what the government can help with in terms of grants. Sure, the government can help you kick off, right? So with some CAPEX, they can help offset the cost of setting up, let's say, the garden, right? We're working closely with the Ministry of Sustainability to set up more edible gardens around Singapore. But what we need is operating budget, and that has to come from us delivering good CSR programs for corporates. So the corporates then will support us with funding to be able to engage the persons with special needs as well as the elderly.
So there is a lot of active engagement when it comes to the corporate side of things. How do you approach things like marketing, pricing of your stuff when you compare it to traditional business peers?
Yeah, so I don't grow vegetables just to sell vegetables. I grow vegetables in order to engage the persons with special needs and the elderly. So what we are actually marketing are programs to help corporates and to help individuals, right, develop an understanding of persons with special needs and work to support the elderly. So their funding comes to us not just to buy vegetables. It has to be that way because you can't manage in Singapore to sell your vegetables at a lower price and still survive as a business. So you have to understand that what we are selling is not vegetables, but the program, the sustainability appreciation.
Yeah, so I suppose rethink the commoditized products, find out what value add you can add to your things you can sell to someone else. That's one way to make it more sustainable, I suppose.
Absolutely. And also because we run NoNNa alongside the Green and Purple movement, so NoNNa has actually transitioned towards a more garden-to-table menus. So we grow a lot of Italian sweet basil, and then we make our own Italian basil pesto.
Very nice.
So we do that, and then we can serve it in the cafe.
Yeah, how has it evolved, the restaurant, the cafe, the menu, your offerings along the past 10 years? What have you had to tweak cost-wise, also the potential headwinds you have to grapple with?
Yeah, well, the thing is this, right? So with persons with special needs, they put in the same amount of effort and blood, sweat and tears, whether it's a $5 bento box or a $15 bento box. Hence, I think it is actually criminal for me to try and sell a $5 bento box. So we've not actually done that segment of the catering business at all. We only look at the higher end, higher value products. So it's cooked with love by the persons with special needs, prepared and harvested freshly by the seniors. So it's something that is worth a lot more money.
All right. So folks interested in finding out more about NoNNa, where can they find your cafe?
Well, at the moment, we are only restricting to corporate cafes. So we do not open it to the public as yet, because what we like is the corporates who want us to operate a cafe in their premises. They invite us in to operate the cafe to feed their staff. So in a way, it's no longer a landlord and tenant kind of relationship. It's a partnership to deliver good meals for your staff while you're doing good CSR.
All right, a new way of thinking about sustainability as well as the area of people with disabilities. We've been in conversation with Geraldine Tan. She is the founder of social enterprise NoNNa. Geraldine, thanks for your time this morning. It's been great chatting with you.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, guys, and enjoy the vegetables.
All right, stay on Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.